Hi guys, so this is going to be my May month of gratitude. Day 122 of gratitude. Today I'm grateful that the grocery shopping was the grocery store was pretty much empty when I went shopping. Between my sinus headache, and the pain in my neck, I'm not sure I could have been out much longer without throwing up. So I just used my standard stock picture. Day 123 of gratitude. Today I'm grateful to have been able to get through my day without throwing up or passing out from the crazy pain in my neck and head. So I just use my stock picture again. Day 124 of gratitude. Today I'm grateful I can laugh at myself. Boy, was I off my game today, but I was so funny. And then I have a picture. It kind of looks like my Asher cat, my blue Russian, and it says, or Russian blue, sorry. It says, some days I practice positive thinking, and other days I'm not positive I am thinking. So it's just a silly picture that I found on Google. Day 125 of gratitude. Today I'm grateful to have a home to come home to. Prayers for Fort McMurray, Alberta. So this was a few days after the wildfire started in Fort McMurray and forced all the residents out. Day 126 of gratitude. Today I'm grateful that Alberta is coming together to show its true Newfoundland spirit in wake of the forest fires in Fort McMurray. Although this does not change the fact that I don't consider Alberta home, and probably never will, it does make me feel a great deal of pride to live in a place where the community shows such support, love, and kindness for each other in the face of tragedy. And then I found a picture that says, kindness is being a breath of fresh air to someone when they feel like they are suffocating. This really came, Edmonton really came together. But the thing that blew my mind is the radio station I listened to, they started taking donations, and they thought it'd be for like a day or two. And they partner with a couple different companies that have big rigs, because they do like bottle drives for, they call them empties for angels. And so they called in one of those companies, and they thought maybe one semi, possibly a semi and a half. By the time they were done a week later, I think their total was 8.5 or 9 semis full of stuff being donated to the residents displaced from Fort McMurray and surrounding areas. So it's just amazing. Day 127 of gratitude. Today I'm grateful for my ability to see and hear. It's going to be a good show. So this is the Marvel's Captain America Civil War. That was the night it came out. My husband, myself, and my husband's best friend went, and we freaking loved it. Day 128 of gratitude. Today I'm grateful for my amazing husband, who is helping to keep the public, Fort McMurray residents and otherwise, informed of the situation in the Fort McMurray wildfires. Always willing to work even on his days off. So this is him at one of our home computers, and he was doing work on keeping one of the reporters logged in when they were up north, because they had lost their signal or whatever had happened. I'm not 100% sure. And they called, and he's like, yeah, I'll do it from home, like no big deal. And it was like, that was Saturday or Sunday. Day 126 of gratitude. Today I'm grateful for my mom. We do not always see eye to eye. Still don't, and probably never will, but she has taught me so much about myself, and for that I'm grateful. So this is a picture from the wedding reception that our Nova Scotia family held for us in September of 2009. We got married in 2009 May, but we got married in Alberta and just with witnesses. And so then we went to Newfoundland and Nova Scotia, and both our families in both places did wedding receptions for us. And yeah, it's very interesting, because if you go back and look at my videos from last September when I went to Nova Scotia, and I never actually did the video on how my mom negatively affected me, but I did talk about it in one of my videos. From then, so like October of last year to May of this year, I've just really reflected on the fact that although she has caused me a lot of issues, and we haven't never seen eye to eye, and we probably never will, especially around my grandmother, my dad's mom, she has taught me a lot. She was one of the first persons that forced me to really have to deal with what was going on in my life because of the issues that were caused between us. So for that, I am very grateful. Wish she would be more of a mother figure to me. My grandmother's more the mother figure, and she's more like a best an aunt, but I mean, at least she's in my life, right? My husband doesn't have his mom, who he was extremely close to, who passed away last year, and a lot of people don't have the opportunity to have relationships with their mom in any form, so I'm just grateful that I have it in some form. Day 130 of gratitude. Today I'm grateful for adult coloring books. So my husband got his off of eBay, or not eBay, Amazon, and he uses them a lot, and I was looking for one, so I went like to the dollar store and Walmart and stuff. They were always really crappy and falling apart, and I couldn't use marker because it bled through, and like the paper wasn't good quality. But I found this one, Canada to Color, and I actually found it at Walmart, and it was like 70% off, and it's amazing. I'm on the third or fourth picture. I really, really enjoy it. Day 131 of gratitude. Today I'm grateful to have been able to volunteer with the participants in my program to help the evacuees of Fort McMurray. And so part of our program, this was the second week of programming, I think. Yeah, the second week of programming. We went and volunteered for half a day at the Edmonton Emergency Relief Service, so I just used their logo, helping to bring in donations, helping to sort donations and make care packages, that sort of thing. Day 132 of gratitude. Today I'm grateful for the Ellerslie Pet Hospital and their amazing staff. Brad took Casper there today, but he is still having troubles with his tail. They were very sweet to him, extremely thorough with their examination and testing, and sent him home with some new medication and a much better understanding of what is going wrong with his tail. And on top of it all, they are much closer to our new house. So this picture is actually the same picture that you would have seen in my April one. This is when he had his tail wrapped, because I really didn't want to take a picture. Well, I have pictures of it, of how black it was because his tail was starting to die, but I didn't really want to post it because it's really a sad picture. So what they said is it's partially, he'll be 14 in October, so it could be some arthritis, and so the hips, it could be in his hips, and the pain is deferring down his tail, and so he's actually attacking his tail, trying to relieve the pain. So they put him on once a day, this like little chew, it's like a treat, but it has glucosamine in it. They also did some tests on his bowel and on his bladder, and they think that, well, they're not sure about the bladder because it was about half full, which is kind of weird because my husband knew that he went to the bathroom right before he left to take him there, and it was only about 45 minutes later. But they had to secrete his anal glands, which could have been causing him pain, which once again, that's very close to the tail. So instead of him attacking his bum, he would attack his tail to try to get rid of the pain. So they secreted those. But then they put him on antibiotics for 7 days, twice a day. And he just finished his steroids this past weekend. He was on them for 3.5 weeks. So they really are aggressive with it. And he had to be coned all the time when we couldn't see him right up until he finished all his medication. Now, Sunday was his last medication. So yesterday and today, as soon as I come home, took the cone off, didn't have to put it back on until bedtime last night, and he hasn't attacked it since I got home today, and I've been home for about 3 hours. And since about Thursday of last week, as soon as we take the cone off, he has no interest in his tail. He's not picking at it at all, and it looks completely healed. So I'm hoping that either his glands were bothering him, or the arthritis was bothering him, or the other possibility is he got something stuck in the fur that we didn't see. And of course, to take it out, he'll lick, and if it won't come out, they use their teeth, right? Cats use their teeth to clean, and he could have just started a sore spot or caused a sore spot with his teeth, and then of course, because he has a sore spot, he's picking at it, and then it just got worse from there. But I'm looking at him right now. He's looking at his tail. He's flicking his tail at himself. But that's stuff that he's always done. He's a weird cat. But he hasn't attacked his tail since probably Thursday, which is amazing. So the rest of this week and Saturday and Sunday. Saturday we won't be home at all because we have to do house stuff. Sunday we will be home. So if he goes all day Sunday from first thing in the morning till when we go to bed, and not attack his tail, then we won't cone him Sunday night, and we'll let him have no cone for as long as he doesn't attack his tail anymore. Day 133 of gratitude. Today I'm grateful to finally have got to meet my new psychiatrist. It seems like he's going to be a great addition to my mental health team. Hashtag mental health, hashtag mental illness, hashtag good mental health is important. And this is just something I found on the internet. I only have a consulting psychiatrist. So I only used to see him every 6 months, and he would re-prescribe my medication because I see a psychologist once a month, and so she could report to him if I had any problems. And then he decided to go and do specialty in a certain type of adolescent mental health. And one of his people he trained with in Ireland, who's from Ireland, took over his practice. He is the most hilarious man I've ever met in my life. I swear to goodness. And he reminds me of being back home so much. His Irish accent is obviously thicker than most people would have in Newfoundland, because Newfoundland is a mixture of Ireland, Scotland, there's some English, there's some French, there's a whole bunch. But his accent just reminds me of a Newfoundland accent. I just love him. So he wants to see me every 3 months, so I get to hear that accent once every 3 months, so that's going to be awesome. And then eventually I'll go back to 6 months. Day 134 of gratitude. Today I'm grateful to be able to have spent the evening relaxing, watching a little TV, coloring, and resting up for my big day tomorrow. Hashtag living for the weekend. And I have a picture that says, I'm not lazy, I'm just on energy saving mode. And the reason why I wanted to say about my energy, that was a Friday night, is because Saturday I went to my birthday/anniversary present, which was a Headley concert on the floor. It was freaking amazing. And that's what day 135 of gratitude was. Today I'm grateful for my amazing husband, who's always there for me and surprised me with Headley tickets for tonight's show. So this is just a picture from their tour, their Hello tour, which is the tour I saw. And I did so much dancing that night that it put me, I think it was 6,000 steps over my total step count for the day. It was freaking awesome. And I would say my step count was probably pretty low when I went there, because that day I didn't do a whole lot because I knew I would be up until 1 or 2 in the morning, and I was because the concert started at 7, had 2 headliners each for an hour, and then they played for almost 4 hours. So it was 2 o'clock, I think, when we got home, or 1 o'clock, 1 or 2 o'clock, something like that, when we got home. Day 136 of gratitude. Today I'm grateful for my amazing friends and family. I love each and every one of you. And so it says, love overflows and joy never ends in a home that is blessed with family and friends. And then day 137 of gratitude. Today I'm grateful for deciding to take the higher road. Just because someone invites you into their drama doesn't mean you need to RSVP. That was connected to my mom and some drama that she had caused. Day 138 of gratitude. Today I'm grateful for my amazing husband, who is always there for me no matter what. We are not perfect people, but we are perfect for each other. Happy anniversary, sweetie. I love you to the moon and back. This is my favorite of the only 11 wedding pictures we have. So our photographer sucked, but this is my favorite picture. It's everyone in my family's favorite picture. It's everyone in his family's favorite picture. We're just looking at each other. And it's really funny because my husband always jokes, "What are you talking about? I was looking at the cute girl behind you. I wasn't looking at you." But love that picture. Day 139 of gratitude. Today I'm grateful I was able to advocate for a participant in my program to get a clean criminal record, because his offense, conviction, and sentencing were all while he was a youth, and his record should have been sealed under the Youth Criminal Justice Act. However, when we went to get his criminal record check done, they were listed as adult offenses. It was an emotional day, but we were able to get it figured out, and he was able to get a clean criminal record. So he's only 19, 20 years old. He went there expecting, with almost the rest of my program, to just get his record check and get it back the same day. And they're like, actually, no, you have a record. And he had to go and be fingerprinted. And he had to go in with the police officer and talk about his offenses. And he had a full-on panic attack. And it was horrible. He had to go home early. Actually, the ambulance had to come and see him. And then his grandmother came and took him home. It was really, really horrible. But in the end, we got it figured out. And the picture I used is why advocate. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, no one is going to get better. It's not. And that's from Dr. Zeus. Day 140 of gratitude. Today I'm grateful for the rain. I hope that the whole province is getting it, especially Fort McMurray and other regions battling wildfires. So I tried to take a picture of the rain, but it didn't work. So I just used my stock picture. That was just a picture I posted. Day 141 of gratitude. Today I'm grateful for a long, lazy weekend. So this was Labor Day, or not Labor Day weekend, sorry, Victoria Day weekend, which for people in the States, they have Memorial weekend that they just had. Ours is the weekend before, and it's called Victoria Day weekend. And it's just a picture of a cat, and it just says lazy weekends. Although we weren't totally lazy that weekend because we had to do stuff for the house, but it's a nice long weekend. Day 142 of gratitude. Today I'm grateful for afternoon naps. And this is a Peanuts picture that says happiness is an afternoon nap. And then day 143 of gratitude. Today I'm grateful for Deadpool and cuddling on the couch. So my husband and I saw, that's just a picture, one of the stock pictures from the movie Deadpool. We actually saw it in the theaters, and we loved it so much that neither one of us had a whole lot of energy that day, and so we watched it again, just cuddled up on the couch and watched it again, and it was really nice. Day 144 of gratitude. Today I'm grateful for the cool, damp weather that the province got over the long weekend. Hope it makes a difference to control the out-of-control wildfires that are happening around the province. And I just used a stock picture for that one. And then day 145 of gratitude. Today I'm grateful I was able to advocate to the police and keep a participant out of the remand center. So this was, I just used the stock picture again. So this was a participant that couldn't go on the other day when we did most of the criminal record checks. This person was an adult. He declared that he had an adult record. And so that was fine. And they said, yeah, you're going to have to wait 5 to 10 business days to come back and pick up criminal record check, because if you have a criminal record, they have to take your fingerprints and send it through the RCMP as well to check across Canada. But they said, oh, you have to go in and see the police officer because something's coming up on your criminal record. This guy's just finishing probation and sees his probation officer every week. And so his probation officer checks every week for warrants to make sure, nothing's going to go wrong and he's not going to get called back to court. And he had been to see his probation officer, I think this was Tuesday after the long weekend, I think the Thursday before. And he had nothing, and he went in to see the police officer, and they said, oh, you have 2 unpaid tickets for the LRT, which is part of our transit system. So you pay $3 to get on the train, but it's a $350 ticket each. And apparently he got them. He remembers getting them. He did forget to pay them. So a warrant was put out for his arrest, which is just crazy that you get arrested over not paying a train ticket. But anyways, for some reason his probation officer wasn't seeing it. They were from October of last year, and because there was 2, and because he was on probation, and all these things added up, the one police officer that took him in wanted to take him to the remand center, which is like the holding, it's the correctional facility where you go when you're remanded, so before you're sentenced, or before you go to trial, or you go back if you're breached for 121 days or 120 days or less. So they wanted to send him back until his probation was over these 2 LRT tickets. So I was like, no. Like, he's in a program, he's doing well, advocated all that stuff. And I called his probation officer, who luckily I know, and was like, what the heck's going on here? And so he talked to the police, so he advocated to the police, I advocated to the police, and then he got a promise to appear for the end of June. And the police officer's like, I'm putting it noted in the court that that there's no way around it if you don't show up. He has to pay almost $800. If he doesn't show up, he's going to get arrested, and his probation will be over by then. So then it's going to be a whole new offense, and he's going to have to go before the judge, and it's going to be a criminal charge, and it's ridiculous. So then we just went and I helped him make a payment plan after. And he was very cool about it, although he was kind of scared that he would go back to jail. He was very cool about it, opposed to the other guy, because he knew he had an adult record, so he knew he'd have to talk to a cop, or might have to talk to a cop. He knew he'd get fingerprinted, unlike the guy I talked to earlier in the month, where he thought his record was sealed, so he didn't think he'd have to talk to a police officer or get fingerprinted. Day 146 of gratitude. Today I am grateful things are working out for the best. And this was just a whole bunch of things to do with the house, to do with my Grammy, a whole bunch of different things. So I just used the stock picture. Day 147 of gratitude. Today I'm grateful for Eddie, I'm not sure if I will say his last name right, D'Ambroso, the best real estate agent I know. This is a picture of our real estate agent. He looks so dorky in this picture. He's not actually that dorky looking. But that's the stock picture they did. Actually, his card's right here. It's the same kind of picture that's on his real estate card. But he's just a young guy, and he's skinny, and he's very, very short. He's like 5'1" or 2, and so, he looks dorky, and they kind of play that up. But anyways, he's the one that helped us buy our house, and he's the one that's helping us do all the closing stuff on it. So it's awesome, and he's the one that got us to get to the point where we are just a few weeks away from getting our 35-day notice letter of possession. Excuse me. Day 148 of gratitude. Today I'm grateful for access to healthy food choices. And then this is just a picture of a homemade salad, mixed greens, olives, peppers, cucumbers, grilled chicken, tomato, and boiled eggs. So this was my supper that night. I'm very grateful to have access to it, and also to have the money to be able to pay for it. Day 149 of gratitude. Today I'm grateful for Hugh Laurie and the show House. My husband and I started watching House again. And then this is, I'm not sure if this, because he had a different picture every season, and I'm not sure if this is one of them from one of the seasons, or it's just another picture to promote the show, but he's leaning on his cane, if you can see, and he says, I'm off. Day 150 of gratitude. Today I'm grateful Casper is done all his medication, and his tail seems to be doing well. So here's a very cute picture of the boy cat. No cone. Love it. Day 151 of gratitude. Today I'm grateful that Costco was pretty much empty and our shopping trip was short. I'm not sure my back could have handled it. This was yesterday, and my back, this is just the Costco logo, and my back was killing me, and I have no idea what I did to my back. And this is today's, so this is day 152 of gratitude. So this is May 31st. This is the day I'm filming it. And this is long, but I do want to read it to you guys because I am very grateful for this situation that happened to me today. So today I'm grateful for the privilege and responsibility that has been given to me in my wonderful profession of social work. As a social worker. Back in 2009, 2010, I was working in transitional housing for individuals living with mental illness and addictions that were transitioning out of the Alberta Hospital, Edmonton, so that's the mental health hospital, after being hospitalized for crimes that they were found not criminally responsible for. I had this particular key resident, so that was the residence I was responsible for, who was struggling, was readmitted to Alberta Hospital Edmonton a number of times, and in fact that's where he lived when I left the position. Fast forward to the winter of 2014-2015 when I was working on the crisis unit, which was my last job, working with individuals who were living homeless. I had interaction with the same participant. He was actively addicted again. He was living rough on the streets, had warrants out for his arrest, had lost a significant amount of weight from the last time I saw him, etc. When I left him that day, I was scared that he would not survive. Fast forward again to today. I was getting in the elevator after work, and there was the same participant standing in the elevator, healthy looking, with a big smile on his face. When he saw me, he gave me a big hug and said, "You'll never guess. I have an apartment with my beautiful girlfriend, who I'm helping through her time on probation." They're actually leaving the community probation office when, because we're on the same floor. "I am healthy, I'm taking my medication, and best of all, I am starting the pre-trades program at NATE in a few weeks." So NATE is like a technical college here in Edmonton. I told him I was proud of him and how proud I was of him, and we went our separate ways. I felt overwhelmed with pride and happiness. I know that I know I'm not the one that got him to this point. It was all him. But I feel so privileged to be a small piece of the puzzle that allowed him to make this massive positive change in his life. My heart is filled. And so the picture is just a picture I found on Google Pictures saying, "My heart is filled." I cannot explain to you how happy that made me feel. I'm actually going to do a video about it. That's how much it touched me. So that is my May gratitude. I'm sorry it took me 26.5 minutes to do that, because some of them were a little bit longer. But if you have any questions about anything from the month of May, please leave them in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please remember to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.